Okay, let's see what Board Gamers got. Some news just came out. Star Citizen, Where's My Ship? Leaks, rumors, progress, and sneak peeks. Let's check it out.
Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. There are a lot of spaceships and vehicles in development for Star Citizen at the moment. As part of Star Citizen's content over features policy as well, they're focusing much more in the way of ships and vehicles that they don't require extra features for. Ones that they already have features for in-game or can expand out those features for those ships. I want to dig into what we know CIG are working on at the moment, or what we expect them to be working on. I also have some rumors and leaks and teasers and sneak peeks and stuff that I want to discuss to a degree. We've had these over the last few months, I suppose since October, since CitizenCon, and then again at the IAE show. This video is going to have some potential spoilers in, but also talk a bit about stuff that I
don't know about you guys, but I don't mind the leaks. I mean, I've been involved with the project so long. I actually enjoy the leaks because I know that the game's going to be in production for a very long time. It's not like you're really spoiling this. Is anybody really getting spoiled? You'd be spoiled if we knew that the actual would come out in a few months. Like we would be spoiled if the game was actually going to come out in a few months. The leaks to me are just a faster access to getting more information. At this point, I don't get upset at leaks. And personally, I don't get people to get upset at leaks at this point. I don't.
Reckon, and leaks and rumors. As such, take it with a little bit of salt. Because there are rumors that things like the Drake Ironclad might be further along than we expected. We've got things like the Grey Cat Cav, a CAV. We don't 100% know what that is, but we'll talk about that.
Anything Grey Cat sucks.
In a minute. Also, we do have a Star Citizen roadmap update that should be coming next week. But in regards to ships, CIG often obscure what ships they're working on or how far they are along through the pipeline with them. This might get even more confusing or at least vague with monthly patches as well, because CIG are likely going to put a ship in only when it's ready, but not tell us if they think it's going to be ready for this month or next month.
Yes,
so they sort of might put it in last minute. With less features, less can go wrong, so they can probably get away with putting it in last minute. Some ships are almost certainly going to be locked behind marketing for like Fleet Week or the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, major releases thing.
You know what I think Board Gamer should do? And Board, if you're watching this, buddy, I would say this. When you go over these bullet points, you should flash the bullet point out. Like you should have like some text at the bottom of the bullet point while you talk about it, so that you can say, okay, this is what I'm talking about right now. Do you guys agree with that? Like, I feel like as he's talking about these things, like something should flash up with like a bullet point, and I think it would be better content. Like, I think it would be a better presentation of Board Gamers content if he just like flashed a bullet point while he's talking about it, and then when he changes the topic, boom, the new bullet point comes up. Thank you, Hugh. Hugh, thank you for agreeing with me.
Things like that. Yeah, we have some teasers, sneak peeks and rumors, and a little bit of I reckon in this video. We also have CIG sharing updates from both CitizenCon and the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. Star Citizen ships from CitizenCon that were teased. They teased a load of ships and vehicles, 15 of them, I believe, and several of them have already been shown off. So we've had the Anvil Hornet Mark II, Tracker, and Ghost. That is 2 separate entries. We've also had the Anvil Terrapin Medivac, the Murai Guardian, the MISC Fortune, the Crusader Intrepid, and the RSI Polaris, all turning up. And most of the other ships and vehicles they showed are in development at some stage beyond concept. So we got things like the Argo CSV FM, the fabrication model, the SM, the sort of flatbed truck version that's already been.
Yeah, it's starting with the most of us veterans. Yeah, it's very rare I get excited about new ships these days, right? Betty says ship sales are not as exciting anymore. And I think if you've been around as long as Betty and I completely understand where you're coming from there, Betty. There's a few that do. There's a few that make me tingle a little bit. But like, it's not the way that it used to be. And I get where Betty's coming from as a veteran of Star Citizen. You've been in this for a while. And it's exactly what I was talking about last week on the Inside Star Citizen review, where you're getting this push towards stability and server tech. Like, that is a smart move for them, because if they can bring that to the game, if they can bring a stable gaming experience and we all can have more fun because the game is better to play, that will be the boost in sales. That will be what they need to do in order to increase sales.
Been released, but the FM model has a building drone for base
Squadron
building. Is the idea there. We also have the RSI Apollo, that very much anticipated modular medical ship. We technically have all the features that we need for it, other than its drones.
Like,
we do not know how far drones are along. We know multiple times CIG have talked about them. We know they need them for Squadron 42. The RSI Apollo could turn up even without its drone gameplay, potentially, or maybe drones are further along than I think, and it will turn up later this year in our hands. But they were working on it, and I believe they are still working on the RSI Apollo currently. We've got things like the MISC Starlancer TAC and BLD. The TAC, the TAC, is the super combat variant. That should actually be in our hands pretty soon.
We gave away one of
the
those.
build version, the drone version for base building, a little bit later, once we have base building in game. Probably something they might add in maybe next year.
Yeah, fingers also. And, you know, I'm seeing this with a lot of the veterans that have been around on this channel for a long time. Fingers is another vet who says, my need for more ships. You know, this Grand Admiral is slowing down, says Fingers. Absolutely. They couldn't have come out at a better time saying, hey, we're switching gears and we're going to focus on the thing that matters, stability, you know?
By Perseus.
They needed to do that.
This was teased recently in an Inside Star Citizen, fighting in the background. I'm actually expecting this to turn up for Fleet Week in May. Don't take that as gospel.
Ginger says the Max is kind of a letdown.
Merchantman was effectively paused so that a chain of RSI ships could be worked on, one of those being the Perseus, one of those being the Polaris, which is already completed. Perseus, lots of shared resources between those ships. I also
what it reminds me of, Ginger said that the Max is kind of a letdown. What it really reminds me of is a throwback to Wing Commander and Privateer, and there was a ship on there called the Orion, if you remember, in your old school like me. This Orion very much reminds me of the Freelancer Max, just the size and the bulk of it and how much it takes. Man, this was the ship, man. You know, like, when I saw the Freelancer Max, I was like, well, you know what? That kind of gives me old school nostalgic vibes, and I was geeking out on it. But, like, to hear that the performance from Ginger is a little bit disappointing is a little bit of a letdown for me. I have not gotten to try it yet or fly it, but totally reminds me of the Orion.
So expect them to continue the cadence of building out chains of ships one after another that share resources between each other. You may very likely see the Galaxy worked on after that, if it's not already being worked on. The Perseus is actually one of my favourite ships. It's like this brawler, Corvette-sized ship, everything that I want in a large combat ship. Two massive turrets, one on the top, one on the bottom.
Good flavor.
And it sort of is built to fight in the front line for long periods of time. I think it was technically concepted.
Hugh says, Execute, our friend from Infrarunners, called it out right, that the Starlancer series, aside from the build variant, are just cash grabs to have variance for variance sake.
There's a heavy patrol gunship. It makes use of the massive weaponry on its turrets and the conventional firepower rather than like relying on missiles or anything like that. And although quite a large combat ship, I'm actually expecting it to be run by relatively small crews. Another ship that we saw, that we know that was on that teased list, is the Consolidated Outland Pioneer. This is the evolved base building ship. It enables you to build the largest buildings for a base, but also space stations, at least start building space stations with it. The ship has tons.
Yeah, I mean, this was a crazy reveal at CitizenCon, man. We were going nuts on the Pioneer because we also learned about being able to build HABs with the drone coming out from CitizenCon soon. We said, well, what's the point of the Pioneer? So what they're going to do with the Pioneer is they're going to only allow you to build the largest structures with the Pioneer so that the Pioneer still makes sense. And they're going to allow you to build player star bases with the Pioneer as well. So when this gets in the game, this for me is what is exciting. Man, the ability to continually expand out a star base for your organization is just like the cherry on top of the perfect, awesome Sunday. Like, oh man, who out there has a Pioneer? Because I'm telling you what, man, But the Pioneer's look, the aesthetic look, I have to say, the Pioneer's aesthetic look from the art design did kind of disappoint me just a touch. I like the art design on the original. This usually happens with a lot of the ships, that I love the concept art, and then when they start to build these out and model them in game, sometimes the design or the art of it, the aesthetic gets washed out a bit. What's up, Sark? Welcome to the community, man. Good to have you here at DG360, buddy. Ginger said, I bought a Pioneer when they released it 8 years out. Yeah, dude. Yeah. We can, Betty. Betty says we can steal a Pioneer. We'll wait till it's in game and then we'll take it for our own. Good job, Betty. That's why I do a lot of the recruiting for our org. We already figured it out, Coop. Betty's got it figured out for us. Sark says, thank you. It's good to have you here, Sark. Nice to see so many new faces tonight. It's nice to see that we're growing. It's nice to see all these people coming in here. Welcome to all the new people. Glad to have you here. Let's give applaud to all the new faces. We're getting so many new faces here. Welcome aboard. Really like this. It's really nice. The past couple months, we've been getting a lot of new faces in our community. It's really nice to bring new people in here with new points of view and perspective. It's really cool.
Going on with it with crafting and base building. It's kind of like a self-sufficient base for a huge amount of your industry needs. I wouldn't expect to see it until after base building is added to the game though, and that might be a little while now, especially with CIG's focus on content over features. The Ironclad and Ironclad Assault from Drake. I teased this a little, kind of by accident in my last video. I actually cut something from that video because I wanted to talk about the Ironclad
Drake, man.
here.
I love the look
sorry
of it.
about that, because that was a little bit lost in translation, and I used a thumbnail that had the Ironclad Assault in it, and although I do think it's possible that we'll get an update in the roadmap for the Drake Ironclad, maybe, I think it's more likely that they'll obscure that and just release it when it's ready. That said, there have been some leaks and rumours about the Ironclad. These rumours being that it's reasonably further along than some people expect. So some players are suggesting that it might even turn up at Fleet Week in May as part of Drake Defense Con. I'd expect to see the Ironclad first rather than the Ironclad Assault, admittedly, because there's a lot going on with the Ironclad Assault and being able to repair and do stuff with vehicles on board. And I think that the standard Ironclad much more simple because it's effectively a glorified armoured cargo and freight ship. I know CIG are working on it, but we do not know what their priorities are ship-wise. So you may hear some rumours and that sort of stuff, but even if it is very far along, even if it is going to be in our hands soon, that could still mean months and months. I'm expecting to see the Ironclad in-game later this year personally. I also think it's possible.
It's possible. He's very excited there. I am very excited for the Ironclad. I've always liked the Ironclad from the very inception of the Ironclad. I like the idea of it, and I am a Drake. I am a self-professed Drake lover. I do like duct tape. It's one of the things that really is a selling point for me. I noticed that I think it was Betty I read said he likes all the variants and the varieties of the ships in Star Citizen. And I just typed this up because I was kind of curious. I'm not quite sure how far along in terms of the ship team and how many ships are out there right now. But I typed this in. I said, how many ships total are in Star Citizen so far? And it says, according to the Star Citizen logbook, there are currently 253 ships and vehicles available in Star Citizen, with 194 of them being playable in game. Really? 194? Are we sure about that? I don't know if that's actually correct, you know, but like that is insanity. Like no other game has that kind of variety. That is wild. That is wild.
That could be at Fleet Week. I just think it's very unlikely. Wait, there's more though. It's worth mentioning that CIG are working on a variety of other ships and vehicles beyond what was teased at CitizenCon 2024. We have already had the Super Hornet Mark II and Heartseeker kit, for example, but CIG have also said that as part of their monthly content-driven patches, they will be releasing more ships that don't require any new added features. So you can expect a good amount of combat ships, cargo, salvage, mining ships of all sizes, but we may also see some new features turn up this year and then ships to match that, because it's not like no new features, it's just less. There are some ships as well that were teased at CitizenCon that are yet to be fully revealed, so they haven't gone on concept sale. We're not 100% sure what they are. One of them is probably the Grey Cat CAV. So this has been rumoured a few times and been data mined and leaked. People seem to think this might be a missile combat assault vehicle, CAV, but other people suggested this might just be a different version of an Ursa or a APC or a more modular vehicle or a builder. It does look like it's going to be coming to the game.
We're doing better
really
now,
soon.
Dila.
Like very soon, if rumors are to be believed. I also heard from a relatively reliable source that I know that CIG are trying to get as many variants and some of the easier to get into game ships and vehicles in as soon as possible with monthly patches and the mini events that are going to be turning up every so often, like Stellar Fortuna, but larger bundles of them at things like Fleet Week and Intergalactic Aerospace Expo. Another vehicle we have that we're not 100% sure on is the Atlas variant, so some form of Atlas chassis variant from Anvil. I'm not talking about the ATLS Titan suits or anything that we have in game for the tractor beams. I'm talking about variants of the Ballista. They all share the Atlas hull, which is also used on things like the Centurion. This variant of the Anvil Ballista could be a load of different things. It could be a medical version or a building version, something like that. Don't actually know. We do know that they teased a building version in 2023. There's also a ship which appears to be Drake Corsair-like. Now, a lot of people said this is a mini Corsair, and obviously it will have a different...
Oh, that's kind of cool. You can already tell the wings come down. That's kind of cool, man. What the fuck? That's different. Yeah.
Name or whatever. But it could just be a variant of the Corsair at a weird angle. It could even be like a Drake Corsair Scout, a streamlined version. You've had it with the Sabre and the Sabre Raven, right? That is just a stripped down version of the hull, really. I am really interested to know
says it's a
your
Reliant?
thoughts, especially on those three ships, or ships and vehicles. The Grey Cat CAV, the Anvil Ballista variant, all that potential mini Corsair. These sort of ships and vehicles may very well turn up by Fleet Week, at least some of them. In fact, I'd say that's potentially expected. I want to know what that mini Corsair thing is. I really do. Lots and lots of questions I hear about ships and vehicles. Where is this ship? Are CIG working on it? If a ship at the moment needs a new feature before it can come into the game, then it's unlikely to turn up this year. We do know that like CIG were working on the 600i rework. I do believe there are some of the team working on Origin ships, and I believe that 600i rework, although I don't have any solid sources on that, I do think it was quite far along, and we're expecting an update on that in the not too distant future. The Banning Merchantman, that is currently paused. Do not know when CIG are going back to that. The Legionnaire, I'd expect to see more about when CIG are happier to talk about hacking. It's supposed to hack the docking ports of a ship and then forcefully dock.
They got no more of this shooting at the doors and having them open. We really need a new process in which to open these doors, man. Like shooting these doors and the doors popping open is we gotta get past this phase. We gotta have like hacking abilities and hacking skills.
Interestingly, it was a ship that CIG were working on in 2023 into 2024, and it was getting ready for release.
Good word, fingers.
But wasn't ready yet. That's what I heard anyway. Things like the Idris and Javelin, when they actually going to be in player hands? Well, with or around Squadron 42 with the Idris, and CIG had previously said after Squadron 42 for the Javelin. I believe they could potentially come around the same time, though. We'll have to wait and see. That's the same story with the Vandal ship updates, I believe. Although with the Vandal ship updates, I believe that they could probably put them in Arena Commander relatively soon. But, well, again, have to wait and see. 2026 is when they plan to release Squadron, so it's not too far away. The Vulcan, so this is the drone repair, rearm, refuel ship. That, it depends how far drones are along, really, in my opinion. The Kraken, this is the light carrier slash mobile space station. Lots of people want this in the game. I would expect to see it in game next year. That is more of a wish than anything else. We know that there are resources dedicated to making Drake ships currently. I think this is going to be absolutely great for content for Star Citizen as well.
You know, like DY was asking about Pirate Week, I could totally see, because Pirate Week, isn't it around September? I'm pretty sure Pirate Week is somewhere time around September. Wouldn't it be cool if they released the Kraken in September? That would be cool, man. That makes a lot of sense, especially with all the little Kraken teasers and everything we've been seeing lately. Like, that would be badass if the Kraken was released in September for Pirate Week. That would be an awesome move for real. Friday. Oh, so I was right about September. Friday, September 19th, says Wooksy. Yeah, there you go, DY. Wooksy got the date for you. Let's hear it for Wooksy. Wooksy's on it. Yar, talk like a pirate day. All my friends from Mongrel Squad will be loving the Kraken being released. Release the Kraken.
Having things like the Kraken in, because they can use it as mobile stations for pirates.
You know, I actually might disagree here with Board Gamer. I think I'm pretty good on these calls. We might be seeing the Kraken on Pirate Week coming up here in September.
They can spawn missions to take these out.
Yarr,
they can have pirates operating from them. They're a mighty FPS level unto themselves. I mentioned the Galaxy earlier as well. I'm expecting that to be worked on more of a focus after the Perseus, and actually probably come into the game later this year again. At least that's what my hope would be. We've got the Zeus Mark II MR probably later this year.
What's up, Captain Fish Sticks? Awesome name, Captain Fish Sticks. Welcome. Lots of new faces tonight. Really cool. Welcome to the DG360 crew, man. Nice to have you here. Nice to have you here.
Just a variant. Lots of ships that are just variants of ships that we've already got. They could potentially come into the game later this year again if they don't require any extra features. Bud. I don't have any updates on the Paladin, which was that latest concept sale they did. The Ranger bikes, the Arastra, the G12 little buggies, the cargo ship that is the Raylin, the Liberator, which is very exciting for me. I want to see that giant platform for ships and vehicles and potentially marines and stuff. The Odyssey, which is the very, very big exploration ship that can get its own quantum fuel. I got the Expanse, which is that refinery. Got the E1 Spirit. Again, I believe they need the taxi or VIP transport mechanics before they release that one. And other ships that you're going to be waiting on a while for are things like the Bounty Merchantman, the Orion, the Endeavour. So like the Orion, it's just strip mining at this just huge scale of mining. They don't need it in game. So the Endeavour, that's science gameplay, which is it touches on lots of other stuff. But
dudes, I cannot tell you how much I've been geeking out for the Endeavour. I don't know if I'm the only one, but like the Endeavour, get out of town, man. I don't know who's not excited for the Endeavour. If this has never been an exciting factor for you, if the Endeavour has not been an exciting factor for you, then you should not be a Star Citizen. Like, I don't even understand how you like Star Citizen if you don't like the Endeavour. The Endeavour, I think, is on everybody's wish list. Holy shit, this ship. Holy shit. Holy shit.
It's a very complex ship. You've got the Genesis Starliner. I hope that they'd get this in the game when they have that taxi and VIP transport stuff. They can sort of build onto that, but I do think it's going to be a while.
The Endeavour is totally an Event Horizon type of ship. Who agrees with me? Put a 1 in chat if you think every time I see the Endeavour, I think of Event Horizon. Thank you. Wooksy, you don't belong here. We got lots of ones, Wooksy. You're just trying to be exciting. Wooksy.
Well, and you've got things like the Crucible, although that would be great to have in game.
You're way outnumbered, Wooks.
That sort of repair mechanic at a different scale. It's a sort of new feature more than anything else. And you've got things like the Nautilus, which requires drones, and it's a turret/mine deployer. Yeah, you're going to be waiting on a while for a load of those. We will give you more updates to ships when we know more.
What's up, Sarah?
Next week we are going to get a roadmap update, but as I said, I suspect it will be pretty clear of ship updates for the most part, and it may well just go, oh, we've got an unannounced ship in progress on the progress tracker, stuff like that. So bear that in mind. I hope you found this informative to some degree.
Yeah, I have. So very interesting information. Very cool.